Good morning. How to complete 2020 Form 940 FUTA tax return, employers annual federal unemployment tax return. Part 3. Line 9. Part 3 is about adjustment. Line 9. If all of your taxable FUTA wages you pay were excluded from state unemployment tax, multiply line 7 by 0.054. And in our example, I multiply line 7, which is $100, by 0.054. Now, because it is excluded from state unemployment tax per se, because I know that I'm not going to pay state unemployment tax on it, so technically it's excluded. So that means I will pay the full federal unemployment tax on the full $100. So if you know you'll pay state unemployment tax, there is a worksheet in the instructions that you might have to fill out to figure out the credit you can take. So in the first session, we assume we will get the full credit, and we only charge 0.6% on the taxable FUTA wage. But in this session, we will calculate the adjustment, the true adjustment to that. So we pretty much time 100 by 0.054, and that gave us $5.40, which we enter on line 9. You could read the instructions to see if the things is you might have to pay a certain amount to be required to pay state unemployment tax on your income paid during the year to your staff members or to yourself. So line 9 does not apply to FUTA wages on which you pay no state unemployment tax, only because the state assigned you a tax rate of 0%. If all your taxable FUTA wage you pay were excluded from state unemployment tax, multiply line 7 by 0.054 and enter the results on line 9. So if all of the taxable FUTA wages you pay were excluded from state unemployment tax, so they do have an interesting sum here. So if your state, if your the state's unemployment tax, so if, let me read it again, line 9 doesn't apply to FUTA wages on which you pay no state unemployment tax, only because states assign you a tax rate of 0%. Interesting. If you weren't required to pay state unemployment tax because all of your wages you pay were excluded from state unemployment tax, you must pay FUTA tax at a rate of 6%. For example, if your state unemployment tax law excludes wages paid to corporate officers or employees in specific occupation, and the only wages you pay were to corporate officers or employees in those specific occupation, you must pay FUTA tax on those wages at the full FUTA rate of 6%. When you figure the FUTA tax before adjustment on line A, it was based on the maximum allowable credit, 5.4% for state unemployment tax payment. Because you didn't pay state unemployment tax you don't have a credit and must figure this adjustment. So if line 9 applies to you, line 10 and 11 don't apply to you. Therefore, leave 9, 10, and 9 and 11 blank. Don't fill out the worksheet in those instructions. So complete schedule A form 940 only if you are a multi-state employer. So it's a little bit confusing the way they put it, because in the coaching session, the first thing that I read, they say that, well, if the tax rate applied to you by your state is 0, does not necessarily mean you need to fill out line 9. But then in the instruction, they went a little bit further to mention that if you pay salary to officers like you, the business owner, if you are the only employee in your business and your state does not collect unemployment tax on you, so that means if you are out of business, you cannot claim state unemployment on yourself, because your state may not collect unemployment tax on officers. You will pay the full 6%. So that means you could put it on line 9, the total salary you pay yourself. You could put it on line 9 so that you don't take any adjustment, like any reduction. But then if you do that, you won't need to fill out the worksheet. And I didn't really want to deal with the worksheet for myself, so I prefer to fill out line 9, which in some way I meet both ways, because I'm the president of the business, and because the salary that I pay myself is so low that the rate for that will be 0. And at the same time, I could put the number online. I could put the amount on line 9 or not. But I chose to just use line 9 so that I don't have to deal with the worksheet. But in your case, if you have to use line 10 or 11, you might face the worksheet. So in some of your taxable FUTA wages, so if some of your FUTA wages, taxable FUTA wages you pay were excluded from your state unemployment tax, or you pay any state unemployment tax late, you must fill out the worksheet on the next page. If some of your taxable FUTA wages you pay were excluded from state unemployment tax, or any of your payments of state unemployment tax were late. So the worksheet takes you step by step through the process. And if we scroll to the worksheet, and they say something here, before you can properly fill out the worksheet, you will need to gather the following information: taxable FUTA wages, line 7, taxable state unemployment wages, state and federal wage base may differ. So that means you need to get that from your state. And last year I tried to call my state to get more information from unemployment department, and they kept switching me from one department to the other, and each one of them will say, oh, I'm not the one that deal with that, you should call this one. And that's just the one that they wanted to refer me to. That was the one that transferred me to the other department. And after doing that this for a while, I just stopped it. And since I know that the amount that I was trying to ask question on was so low, but I wanted to know, so that I have the information in my record. When I need it, I know where to find it. But I might try it again this year to see if I will get to the right department, to see at what level I should start paying unemployment tax to our state on my income, if any, or if they don't charge unemployment tax on officers. So you might want to figure out for your state as well, so that you are in line with your state law. So the experience rate assigned to you by the state where you pay wages, the amount of state unemployment tax you paid on time, and the amount of state unemployment tax you pay late. And don't include penalty and interest in it. So the worksheet is on page 12, and we are not going to go through the worksheet, but it should be pretty much reading and filling up. So taxable FUTA wages from line 7 will go, so those are the information you need to have. So maximum allowable credits is 5.4%. So you'll just take that line 7 times by that credit for line 1 for your worksheet, and for line 2 credit by timely state unemployment tax payment. How much did you pay on time? You'll put it on line 2. If you make some deposits to your state while you pay on time, you put on line 2. If line 2 is equal to or more than line 1, you just stop there. You have completed the worksheet. Leave form 940 line 10 blank. If line 2 is less than line 1, continue the worksheet. So line 3, additional credits, where all of your assigned experience rates 5.4% or more, where all of your assigned experience rate 5.4% or more. So if yes, enter 0 on line 3, then go to line 4 of the worksheet. If no, fill out the computation below. List only those states for which you assign experience rates for any part of the calendar year was less than 5.4%. So they have computation rate here. The difference between 5.4% and your assigned experience rates. So that'll be, you'll take 5.4% minus that rate, and you will have it on the line for computation rates, and you'll put the state here. So if you are just doing it for one state like Iowa, you put Iowa, and then you put the rates and taxable state unemployment wages at assigned state rate. You put the taxable amount, and you calculate the additional credit. So but yeah, you should just fill out the worksheet, and you'll total everything on for line 3, and for line 4 that'll be line 2 plus line 3. And if line 4 is equal to line 1, you just stop there. And if line 4 is less than line 1, you continue the worksheet. So we are now going to pretty much continue working on the worksheet, but we'll go back to our part 3 here. And in our case, we just prefer to use line 9 to put 5.40, and that's the adjustment. Line 11, if credit reduction apply, enter the total from Schedule A, Form 940. So if you fill out Schedule A, Form 940, you'll put the amount here. And that will be the adjustment that you'll make on the taxable FUTA wages that you calculated on line 7 of Form 940. In this video, we address the adjustment part 3 of 2020 Form 940, and we'll continue in another session. So thank you so much for listen to our podcast. Thank you for watching our videos, and thank you for reading our blog. Thank you all that subscribe, and thank you all for all your comments. I'm Afiavi Ojune Libreman, creators of Librano Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel, owners of ninasoup.com, our blog, Librano Consulting L.L.C podcast, and we do have online stores for natural products, ninasoup.com, for custom apparel store, for custom apparels, liberlabel.com, and for household product, liberoutlets.com, and for digital products, liberdownload.com. Thank you so much for your time.